Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Sherlina, which is from K1 2019. This occasion, I'm going to present my PPT about teachers' perception of their code switching practices in English as a foreign language classes, the result of stimulated recall, interview, and conversion analysis. In the next slide, we're going to see the method line. First, we have introduction, method, also result and conclusion. We have some point of the method, result, and conclusion. So we're going to do next. So next slide about introduction. The idea that teachers talk too much has perhaps acted as a barrier in even evaluating teacher speech as language input. Nevertheless, the crucial point are not the quantity of their talk, but the way teachers talk, the language they use, and whether their talk aids their students' language development, according to the Tumble and Arnett 2002, p. 211. There is a near consensus that teachers should aim to make maximum use of the TL. It is supported by Leo Loop et al. 2013, who mentioned that teachers should use the target language as much as possible in the foreign language class. Second is about Polio and Duff 1994, Littlewood and Yu 2011, and Rondon Perry 2014 acknowledge the claim that high use of the target language in the EFL classroom correlates significantly with the high students' language output. However, Yamamoto Wilson 1997 admits that careful use of L1 can assist students in learning a foreign language. Cook 2001 not only suggests that the use of L1 should be minimized, but also argues that the target language should mostly be used in the classroom as a tool of communication. He states that the systematic use of L1 in the second language classroom is for specific pedagogical purposes. Cook 2001. However, to what extent should it be minimized is still an open question, while Stephen 2006 state that the way L1 is used determines whether it is detrimental or helpful. So the next slide is about the method. We know that there is some method in here. We are going to use first is research design, and also there is the content, participants, data analysis, and data collection. First, we're going to know about research design. Conversation analysis, CA, and stimulated recall interview, SRI, were used in this research to help the researcher to explore and describe teachers' language use, the teachers' code switching in the classroom, and the understanding of the function and the reason of teachers' code switching, as well as their perspective on their code switching. It will be easier to look at the SRI that has not been widely used in EFL research context, especially in Indonesian EFL context. It's like Cahyani et al. 2018. It is the reason why we choose a SRI to see whether the teacher perceptions and any mismatches with the classroom observation, from Benson and Cavelu 2013. Next, we're going to talk about the content. In this occasion, we're going to talk about the second one is about the context. Sorry. In Indonesia has implemented the newest curriculum that we know as Curriculum 2013 in running the teaching and learning process. In the 2013 curriculum, English as a subject in the Indonesian primary school was taken away from the curriculum. Therefore, the students start learning English as a subject in the grade 7 in junior high school. In Indonesia, in this from the DICNAS 2013. School term run for a total of 34 weeks a year. Hence, they potentially have a 68 session with 80 men in a session of English language instruction. So we're going to see the next is about we're going to see about the participant. This is the participant. The participant of this research come from 4 junior high school, which were chosen randomly, and there were 5 teachers referred to as teacher A, teacher B, and teacher C, also teacher D and teacher E, and their respective classes in 4 junior schools in I mean like in the middle school, maybe in especially we are going to talk in Padang and West Sumatra, Indonesia. Each class consists of 25 to 30 students age 8 to 13 to 15 years. The participating classes selected for classroom recording were the ones in which the teacher participants taught English as a foreign language for 2 sessions or 40, 60, 160 in per week. Now we're going to talk about data analysis. The researcher and assistant have expertise in the relevant languages Bahasa Minang, or we know that BM, as the mother tongue, Bahasa Indonesia, or BI, as the national language, and target language, or English, is TL. In analyzing the data, they transcribe the video recordings and audio recordings following the transcription and format adapted from Atkinson and Heritage. Now we're going to talk about data collection. The data were collected from early January till the end of February during the second semester of academic years. The researcher conducted the school visits every week for each school, with the total number of visits were varied between 5 teacher participants as generally found in Indonesia. Each class learned English as a foreign language for 160 minutes per week in junior high school. 20 lessons were observed and approximately 25 hours and 20 minutes of video were recorded from the 5 teachers. In conducting the classroom observation, the teachers and students were voluntarily encouraged to follow the normal teaching and learning process. As Erickson 2006 mentions, the video camera will not move while recording. It has been claimed that the fixed. So the next slide is about the result. First, we're going to see the amount of teacher language use. The result of the study disclosed that teacher that taught Kevin evolved the last 2 languages in the classroom, that was Bahasa Indonesia and also English, or TL. And so next we're going to talk about code switching practices in the observed EFL classrooms. All teachers uterine containing Bahasa Indonesia were identified and categorized into 2 main categories that are pedagogical and effective function. According to Kanagarajah 1995 in page 179, the pedagogical function means that code switching can help in the effective communication of the lessons content and language skills, which have been specified in the curriculum and SEN 2005, and defines that effective function refers to code switching function that serve for expressions of emotion, while Benson and Chagov Liu 2013 in page 72 say that the code switching serves as expansion as expressions, of emotion to build solidarity and good rapport with the students. Table 1, maybe we here have a table about pedagogical and effective functions of code switching. There is data, and then there is a language function of code switching. There's four teacher here. There's A, B, C, D, and E. There is pedagogical function and effective function. First, in pedagogical function, there is introduction, new vocabulary, explaining grammar rules, comprehension check and concept checking, explaining lessons goal and giving traction. And beside it, there is the effective function. There is the accommodate the limited English, a proficiency of their students, and at saving time, giving feedback and maintaining the flow and this lesson. Next, about the teachers' perception of their underlying reason for code switching. Okay, so we are going to face the discussions. Table 2 represent the key motivation of code switching as stated by the three teacher during the SRIS. So we just seeing the table 1. It's about the pedagogical function and also effective function. So in this occasion, the studies found that not at all the observed that were consistent with the teacher's perceptions as expressed in SRIS with the teachers. The main function of the code switching as expressed by the teacher were pedagogical reasons and effective reasons. Pedagogical reasons were used to teach grammar, to explain new vocabulary translation, to check students' comprehension, to emphasize certain points in the lesson and explain the lesson's goal. Effective reasons were used to accommodate their students' limited English proficiency, saving time, reprimanding or scolding and maintaining the flow of the lesson. Macaroon 2001, and Take 2002 state that using L1 is less time consuming than using the target language executively, and is in line with the four teachers that claimed that they applied code switching to save time. So there is table 2 about teachers for code switching. There is pedagogical function. Also there is effective function. First is the pedagogical functions about introducing new vocabulary, explaining grammar rules, comprehension checks, explaining lessons goals for a reason or emphasis. So next, about effective function is to accommodate the limited English proficiency of their students, saving time, reprimanding of scolding, motivate students, and maintaining the flow of the lessons. From the table, we view their teaching objectively as Rosens et al. 2018 mentioned their reaction after watching the video recording showed their reaction after watching the reaction. Like after watching the video recording showed that it was powerful read medium and revealing aspects of their teaching which they had no previously considered. So from the table before, there's a teacher from A to E. The first is about teacher A. Teacher A did not mention specific percentage when she was asked about the ideal proportion of English and Bahasa Indonesia used in the teaching and learning process, but she acknowledged that more English should be used in the classroom. The results show that she should have the most English in the classroom of the 5 teachers, or this is 57.7200 at 72%. Now we're going to talk about teacher B. Teacher B mentioned that the target languages ideal proportion percentage and mother tongue of second language is 50-50. She explained her belief by expressing to the researcher in the interview that it was challenging to teach grammar and the target language to young learners. And the teacher C mentioned in the interview he used 75 percent English in her classroom instruction. However, the observation transcript analysis data revealed that he used only 36.07 percent of the target language during her classroom interaction. It might be concluded that teacher C wasn't aware of his code switching. So we're going to see teacher D. Teacher D is similar to teacher C. Teacher D claimed that C used around 70% of English. She believed that an English teacher should use 70% of the target language and 30% of the mother tongue. Her belief was conducted by what she had done in her classroom interaction. She used 27.6% of the English and 67.38% of Bahasa Indonesia. Last, about teacher E. Teacher C was surprised to see how much Bahasa Indonesia she used in the classroom. She explained that she didn't realize that she used much Bahasa Indonesia in her interaction with her students. She admitted that teachers should be educated on the use of the target language in the classroom because she felt that there was a lack of knowledge among teachers in language in Indonesia regarding. Now we're going to talk about teachers' belief about language choice in the classroom. The teachers in this research agreed that the students need to be exposed to the target language significantly. However, teacher did not propose specific percentage when the 5 teacher participants were asked to give their opinion on the ideal proportion of English and Bahasa Indonesia to be used in classroom discourse. Teacher C, Teacher D, and Teacher E proposed specific percentage which are 70% English and 30% Bahasa Indonesia. And however, it did not match her practice in classroom interaction that showed most of their observed utterance were in Bahasa Indonesia. So before, I already talked about that one. Now we're going to talk about teacher self-reflection. Self-reflection provides information about one's condition and the moment in a particular context. Richard and Lockhart, 1994. The self-reflection is important as it might reflect the individual's self-conceptions at the current moment and connect to the facts in the real world. Richard and Lockhart, 1994, page 29, state that what teachers do reflects what they know and believe, and that teacher knowledge and teacher thinking provide underlying framework or schema that guide a teacher's classroom action. So teacher self-reflections is crucial as it can be used as part of her or his professional development. Tell us about conclusion. The result of the study by using CA revealed the learning environment in terms of teachers' code switching. This research found that pedagogical and effective function were identified in code switching and associated this observed function to teachers' perception toward code switching through SRIS. The pedagogical function were performed to teach grammar, explain new vocabulary or translation, checking comprehension, explaining lessons goals, give instruction, and concept checking were demonstrated to analyze video recording, classroom observation, transcript. The effect effective function of teachers. Code switching were found effective in helping the teacher. So everyone, maybe this is the end of my presentation. I'm really sorry for all my mistake. If you have any suggestion and comment, just comment it below. Also, thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.